1, 2, 3, the lawn feed.
Welcome to another episode of the Lawn Feed Podcast. Collectively, the Lawn Feed is three dads with a strong passion for lawn care, and we deliver everything to you in a simplified, easy-to-listen-to way in a space where all experience levels are welcome, egos are left at the door, successes are celebrated, and there are no failures, only learning moments. I am Andrew the Dad Badalon, and with me, we got the whole crew back together for the first time in quite a while. We got Chris Opitz Motime from Minnesota. How we doing, Chris?
What's up?
And also Vince Rudilanco from Pennsylvania.
I thought you were going to forget who I was.
For a minute, I was next staring at you, and I was like, who is this stranger?
I don't know who this guy is.
I haven't talked face-to-face with these guys in a while. It's good to be back, boys.
Boys are back.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer so far. So it's good to have us all back on, get this going again. And tonight we're going to dive into the ins and the outs of mowing. Should you bag? Should you mulch? Should you side discharge? Should you even be mowing right now? Like, what's the best height of cut to have for your grass types? We're going to talk about it all. So stay tuned. We're going to be getting into that shortly.
Yeah. And quick shout out to our friends over at Twin City Seed for powering the season of the Lawn Feed Podcast. They are built on a reputation of superior service, accuracy, and sustainability with custom blending and packaging, high performance product, and a team of dedicated experts. And they've got something really cool. Vince, you alluded to it on the last episode, but as of July 1st, they are bringing some of the heaviest hitters when it comes to dark, super dark green grass. So if you are looking for some of the darkest cultivars and blends on the market, they have stepped up and released a couple blends for you just in time for renovation season, which is darn near around the corner. It's coming quick. So if you're not thinking about that, it is time to start thinking about renovation season, overseeding season, all of that. But Nightfall, a 70-30 Kentucky bluegrass, perennial ryegrass, dark blend, Tough Turf After Dark, which is one of the best tri blends out there. If you're looking for a lower input, less maintenance, but absolutely crazy dark color, that is there, as well as all of their other stuff that they have and have always had best on the market. But those two that I mentioned, they are limited releases. So once it's gone until they decide to come bring it back, if whenever. So go check them out. They are obviously super pumped up about that. We're super pumped up to kind of bring that to our audience and get renovation season started. But Twin City Seed, a North American leader, giving DIYers the highest quality of premium and elite grass seed for your next project. And we're going to help you guys out and save money because you guys, why not? Why not save money? 10% using code LawnFeed10. On top of that, use the free shipping code FreeShip24 and pair those together at twincityseed.com. And for our friends up in Canada, twincityseed.ca. Yeah.
Dude, I'm most pumped about Nightfall, but Tough Turf is just an underrated blend of grass seed. So I am super pumped to see what that looks like.
I think a lot of people are. Well. I've heard from a lot of people out there like asking about, should I do this instead of like the original Tough Turf? Like, do you recommend it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you like dark grass? Yeah, I think you should.
Sky blue.
I think you should.
Does a bear shit in the woods?
And I'll tell you what, I was just thinking about this earlier this week, like how close renovation season is. So like for Chris and I, you're talking end of August, 1st September, right? And here we are halfway through July at the time of this recording. That's a month and a half away. And I'm already thinking, I was going to spray for weeds. So like, I got to get that done so that, I have the 3, 4, 5 week window after spraying, herbicides. Mm-hmm. And so it's nuts. And then I'm thinking, what do I want to do? Like, what are my plans? And when am I going to do it? Got to put that on the schedule these days for the wife,
Man,
it's coming quick.
It really is.
It'll only take like 8 hours, right, Andrew?
Yeah, on day one.
Yeah, I'll be done by noon, sweetie.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Noon on Sunday. It's Friday. But
14 garage beers later, and
we'll have to dedicate an episode here coming up of what our plans are for fall. Because I have, I'm thinking I have tons. I know, Chris, you got so I think one of our next episodes we're just gonna have to talk about fall renovations and or just plans for fall, and maybe that'll give you guys some you guys meaning listeners some ideas and motivation to also want to switch it up a little bit or improve your lawn a little bit better than you did this year and just get that renovation fever. Speaking
Renovation
of fevers,
fever. Need more cowbell. But yeah, no
dads,
doubt.
wins, and losses.
We should definitely do that. Yeah, speaking of wins and losses, let's do that. Our wins and losses segment is sponsored by our friends over at Way Seed is what I was about to say.
It's a hybrid
Not Twin
company.
City Seed, not the other one. Way Safe trailer hitches. Way Safe is the only trailer hitch on the market with built-in scales to measure tongue weight to ensure the safest towing experience to keep you and your family safe while towing, whatever you're towing. You can use TLF15, TLF15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order at way-safe.com. Let's dive into it.
A lawn feed tradition where we tap into who we are at heart. Dads! This is Dad's Wins and Losses, where we tap into our inner dad bod father figures and highlight some of the recent wins we've experienced as parents, and of course, vent about the embarrassing losses we take each and every day as dads.
I love Dad.
Andrew, you were MIA last episode. You were dealing with like no power or something. I can't remember. You were chainsawing trees down or something like that.
Yeah, it was a good old time. Candlelight dinners for no reason.
Yeah.
Don't open the fridge.
Surely you have some wins and losses, so we're gonna pass the ball to you.
Yeah, actually, it's lots of wins out there. There's little things every day, and luckily, I had a hard time thinking of a loss, which is hard to come by, especially in summer when the kids are around all the time because there's no school going on. But I actually had two things.
You have your kids home?
Well, they go to daycare, but like my day off during the week, my daughter's usually at school, so we just have the one, and
sure,
they're just kind of going stir crazy, I think, right about now. Always wanting to be doing something. It's like just watch TV like you're good at. Just real
good.
Like we don't need to go to the beach every day. We don't need to go mini golf every day. Like we can,
of course we do.
We can just chill around the house, But anyways, just today, my son and I were out in the driveway, and he was playing around. And he goes, "Dad, can I play with the hose?" And I was like, "That could be a good thing or a bad thing." He's like, "I want to water your grass." And I was like, "Oh, okay. And so I got the nice hose, the hose link out, stretched it across the driveway to my side yard, which is always dry as toast this time of year because it's an old gravel driveway underneath there. It's my first spot's always to dry out. And so I go, "Buddy, you see that brown stuff over there, the brown grass? I want you to spray that." Okay. And so he was over there just spraying the crap out of that while I'm doing other productive things in the front yard. And so, he's having a good old time while I'm being productive, and he's also watering my lawn, so I don't have to drag a sprinkler over there and do it. And then meanwhile, my wife's been working her butt off cleaning the house because we're about to leave for a week for vacation. We have a couple of people that stay at our house and watch the dogs. So naturally, we have to clean the house cleaner than it ever is for us, for them, and they get to live in my super clean and super quiet home when I'm not here. So my wife's been working hard doing that, and she cleaned up the whole kitchen, dining room area, and of course the kids are eating dinner tonight, and they have ranch on their plate because they have to have that with everything, right? And of course, they can't just sit there and eat.
Dump it.
Yeah, they can't just sit there and eat. And my wife had just got done moving the kitchen table and cleaning the floor underneath and all that stuff. And of course, they're screwing around. And my son, I think, tried to headbutt my daughter or something stupid, and his head hit my daughter's plate, and it went all over the bench, all over the floor, ranch dressing, right? So that's my loss. It was a pretty easy cleanup for the most part, but it's frustrating though. She worked hard getting that clean, and I've been doing some cleaning too. But this is the little things, so not too bad.
Are you a ranch and pizza kind of guy?
Yeah, I don't always put ranch on my pizza, but I do. Actually, just tonight we kind of had one of those nights where we just kind of hodgepodge dinner, and my wife's doing gluten-free stuff, and so there was no food around the house that was edible for me. And so she's like, "Why don't you try my cauliflower crust pizza?" So I had that, and I put a couple dabs of ranch on there. It was good without it, but I don't always. Depends on the pizza.
I feel like the bottle at Hidden Valley Ranch is always just at the dinner table.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
Hidden Valley was always the choice growing up, but I've kind of moved on to I really like restaurant, like homemade ranch that they do at the restaurants. But I kind of like what is the other one? Hidden Valley is not my go-to anymore.
Sure.
Kraft makes a decent one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Crap, that sounds like
it
a
does.
sour.
It's okay. It's but I don't know, something about Hidden Valley just has a little extra something to it that I don't always go
I
crazy
used
about.
to be obsessed with ranch dressing. Like
Yeah.
my friends would have wing nights, and I would bring my own bottle of ranch with me. It was like ranch on everything, ranch
Yeah.
on steak, on pizza. Now I
on
can't
steak.
stand it. Oh, dude,
Steak?
don't knock it till you try it.
I won't knock it. I've put ranch on everything, I think, but
Yeah.
steak.
That's
Yeah,
like me and
dude.
Chick-fil-A sauce these days. I won't put it on. I've never tried it on
dabble
pizza.
do.
But,
Just a dabble do.
huh.
I'm legit gonna go
But
try that.
I don't. My wife, obviously, we don't try and eat what's actually the ingredients inside of Hidden Valley Ranch. So we start doing Nature's Promise stuff, and then
Yeah.
that led to well, I don't like this ranch, and now I just don't like ranch at all. And a couple weeks back, I tried eating some ranch dressing, some Hidden Valley, and it just did not taste good. I was like,
Huh.
okay, well, so much for that.
All right.
My ranch obsession is gone.
It's not a bad thing.
No,
Probably not a bad thing.
My-
There's a reason. There's a reason the entire Midwest is 500 pounds overweight.
I think I've reduced my ranch intake solely because my kids put it on everything. And it's like the more I use it, the more we have to buy it. And groceries are already expensive enough that we don't need to buy more ranch because of me. So
Yeah, well,
I'm going to do my part.
got to do what you got to do. But so moving from a ranch hobby to a grass hobby, shall we?
Yeah.
I probably should.
Let's talk about some grass stuff. And this episode, we're talking about mowing. And more specifically, we're talking about mulching, bagging, benefits of mulching, and all that stuff. And when I was preparing this, we were preparing this. It was like, this is going to be such an easy topic. Like, there's really not much to it. It's either you bag or you mulch, but there is actually a lot more information and theory behind why you choose which method that you're going to be mowing. And one of the common things that I see on Facebook threads is that, people are just questioning what they should be doing during the summertime as well, when they should be mowing, how they should be mowing, should they bag, should they discharge, and the comment threads are always just hundreds of comments long. So let's take some time during this episode. Let's try and answer some of these frequently asked questions and myths or misconceptions of it. So mulching, what exactly is mulching? Well, you're just basically mowing the lawn and your blades are being kept underneath your mower and you're chopping them up into super small pieces, and then they fall into the canopy. Now, to be able to mulch properly, you actually have to have a mower that has a mulching capability, or more specifically, you need to have mulching blades. And how to tell if they're mulching blades or not is they usually have some little teeth on the top of them. That way, when it's spinning around, there's this extra points, extra sharpness that's going to help chop them up. Most of your push mowers will come with them, but then if they don't, there's always aftermarket. And then for lawn tractors and zero turns, if you want to mulch, then you're probably going to have to go buy like a mulching kit for your deck for something that's bigger.
Yeah, and there's plenty of benefits to mulching. And the one that I like the most is the fact that it's not bagging, so it's less work. You don't have to empty out the bag. Same thing with
man's way to mow.
Yeah, the same thing with side discharging too, which we'll get to in a minute. But in all seriousness, benefits of mulching include returning nutrients into your lawn. Kind of an interesting piece of information we found out while researching how much nutrients are actually returned to your lawn. It came from the Extension Office, University of Missouri. It says grass clippings returned to the lawn provide up to 25% of your lawn's total fertilizer needs. And while decomposing, they also serve indirectly as a food source for the bacteria in your lawn or in your soil, which are doing many beneficial things, such as decomposing thatch and for a healthy turf environment. And this can obviously vary, but it just goes to show that leaving the grass clippings in your lawn is actually an essential part of having an overall healthy lawn. And if you're cutting off the proper amount of grass each time, you're not breaking that 1/3 rule. As long as you're not baling hay, it's just not going to cause an excessive thatch issue or anything like that, which would, cause you to want to use a dethatcher or a verticutter, which is good for the spring or fall, especially if you're going to do a seeding project. But a lot of people think, oh, if I mulch, I don't bag it, it's going to cause a thatch issue. And that's just not true if you're doing it properly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously good. It's I see a lot of people doing it, but when shouldn't we do it? I see a lot of people doing this too. You mentioned mowing tall grass. Obviously, if you're mowing, you're going to be the biggest thing here is you're bogging your mower down, and really you're just leaving a trail of grass clumps behind you. And I'm on fire today.
I hope there's no glass.
Yeah,
For some
hopefully
reason,
you're
there's
not
glass in my lawn.
Hopefully you're not mowing glass. That would be bad. But yeah, you're effectively bogging everything down. In theory, everything's kind of getting clogged up and under your deck, and you're leaving those clumps behind you. And really, if those are left behind, you're going to be doing more harm than good. To fix this, raise the height of cut. A notch or two. You can bag it. You can side discharge. Then you can go back and kind of do your thing in a normal height of cut. But really that gets alleviated by not breaking the 1/3 rule as much as possible. And if you're new here, that's not taking off more than 1/3 of the top of the grass blade in a single mow, and making sure that you can adjust your height of cut for that. To pair it up and double down, you don't want to do this when the grass is wet. I see people doing this all the time, either when we have periods of rain where they haven't been out there for a couple days and it's just insane and the grass is going nuts, or they're just mowing at the wrong time. They got dew or right after their sprinklers haven't necessarily dried off yet, or whatever have you. It just decreases the cut quality. It does the exact same thing. You're bogging down the mower, so on and so forth. And then with dull blades is the other one, right? We don't want to necessarily mulch with dull blades. Why don't we want to mulch with dull blades? Is because we're not getting a clean cut. We're not getting a clean cut on the first cut, and we're not getting a clean cut on, not that it really matters on the other ones, but you're not getting a clean cut on all of the other things either. So you're not properly mulching the blades, or excuse me, the grass clippings, to really what you should. So always keep your blade sharp. I feel like I beat a dead horse this year with keeping your mower blade sharp, but it is super important.
The horse is dead.
The horse is beat. That's for sure. It has been brought out back about 7 times, but it's super important. You want that clean cut, especially this time of year. We're in midsummer, for those listening. So a good remedy to this, we brought it up on the last episode, Vince, you and I talked about it, but having multiple sets of mower blades and rotating them out. And when they're rotated out, go and have them sharpened so you can constantly just have sharp blades when you need to, instead of when you can get around to it. So super, super, super important to prevent, disease issues and damage to the plant and all of those different things. But anything else on mulching that we didn't hit on?
No, I think that's the main stuff with mulching. It's like I said, it's not it's simple, but there's a lot of stuff behind it that impact the quality of your overall turf.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, how if it's super tall, raise your height of cut. When in doubt, just grab your bag and start bagging it. And so why do people bag their lawn? I see a lot of people doing this. I know growing up all the time, I would just bag. When I would mow for my dad and stuff, I would just bag all my clippings all the time. And then starting a landscape business, I would bag my clippings. And I'm like, but now I'm hauling my clippings. So why did people want their lawns bagged? And it's a cleanliness thing. People have pools, people have dogs, and they just want to keep those clippings off of the ground. But there's also more to it. So One reason to throw the bagger on your mower is, like Chris said, if you have tall grass. So if you're mowing excessively tall grass, raise the height of your cut, raise your deck a little bit, and throw your bagger on. This is going to help alleviate any of those clumpings. Baling hay is what Andrew was saying earlier. And when you have those hay bales, you're going to be leaving them on top, and it'll smother the grass. So if you raise your head of cut up a little bit and you even a notch, bag it, then you go back and you can bag it again. Then you just know that you're not throwing down excessive amounts of grass clippings. Some people, or actually on the back of your fungicides labels, I don't know, guys, if you've ever noticed this, but it'll often say, while mowing, bag your clippings while the disease is present. So anytime you have a fungal disease in your lawn, bag your clippings, wash your mower off after each mow. That's going to help reduce the amount of transmission that's going to go into other parts of your lawn. If you're mowing several properties, you have a business, try not to cross-contaminate,
I think about that all the time.
Yeah. I don't think
And how it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say never.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Right,
Justin Bieber taught me that.
Yeah. Never 0% shouldn't say yes, but
yeah. But so just like I mentioned earlier, you don't want to have your grass clippings everywhere. So I bag my back lawn every time I mow, and that's mainly just because then I don't have clippings on my patio, the dog, the splash pad, and all that stuff. And it's just a cleanliness factor. I need to get into not bagging my front and side as much, especially because there's such a new lawn, new renovations, kind of help build up that soil composition and get those grass clippings down there to start doing microbial fun things. The fun things that microbes like to do with your grass clippings.
Big words.
Big words.
Big words.
I love a good microbe. Anyways.
Is that right?
Side discharge. The nickname you never want in college. Side discharging is pretty...
Like my son did that the other day.
Oh, God. We'll talk about that offline. Side discharging is pretty standard for most lawn tractors and zero turns. It's that chute that comes out the side. If you ever drive by, a lot of commercial companies are using that. Yeah. Side discharge. Discharges out the side. Most companies will use these, and they'll use something called a grass flap, which is basically a cover that you can open and close. So that if you're going by something, you don't want to blow grass clippings all over, you just close it real quick and open it back up. For push mowers, you'll need an attachment to kind of stick in the side port. If your mower comes with it, not all push mowers do. I'd say it's kind of 50-50 out there in the market these days on the mower you have, whether it comes to the side discharge or not. So if you're in the market for a mower and you want it to be able to do all three, bag, mulch, and side discharge, just be mindful of, is that mower even capable of that?
That would be called a 3-in-1 mower.
3-in-1, not a 2-in-1. Exactly, Chris. Your numbers are spot on tonight. Side discharging helps keep the power of your mower. So getting rid of the grass clippings from the chute can help the blades spin fast and the mower not bog down. So this is really helpful when you have like tall, wet grass, which you shouldn't be mulching necessarily. You can hit that with a side discharge. And then you can go back over it after you've side discharged it and cut it and then mulch it or bag it. Or go over it a couple times with your side discharge and give it a double cut, triple cut kind of thing. If you don't have mulching blades, it's beneficial to use a side discharge because you don't have those fancy blades that are going to chop up the grass into smaller, fine particles. So you'll get a better cut with the side discharge. One thing I have noticed with side discharging is it does, even if you're cutting longer, maybe wet grass, it doesn't clump because it blows it out so far, and it even will blow your previous passes as you go by it, almost like a fan would. But I have noticed that the clippings tend to kind of sit on top more than what it would with a mulching. So don't be too surprised with that. But like I said, a lot of commercial people are running side discharged machines. So it's pretty common out there, and it's not hurting anything by any means.
Side note, if you are doing a side discharge or mulch and you got grass clippings on the street, two things on this: you are a motorcyclist's worst nightmare. But secondly, the poor man's leaf blower is the side discharge.
That's right.
Yep.
You just go and onto the street, just like you're walking your baby in a stroller, and all of a sudden your grass clippings are off the street in your yard. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Height of cut. Height of cut. HOC. This isn't necessarily a mowing method, but it will help you determine which of the three that we've talked about that you're going to do based upon the current condition of your yard, whether it's wet, whether it's long, whether it's whatever. You got to know your turf type, I think, to start, because it will ultimately depend on this. And we're going to talk cool season grasses. So if you're warm season grasses, we're going to skim through those. But like for tall fescue, like the name, those like to be cut a little bit taller, 3 to 4.5 inches. Some of the newer cultivars, those can obviously be more tolerant to a shorter height of cut. The more elite cultivars are more tolerant to that. Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass, wherever, those are going to be a little bit lower. You can go all the way down to like a 1/2 inch. If you're doing like a rotary, I would not go that low. You're just going to be scalping your lawn. But all the way up to like 3 inches on the perennial ryegrass side, that's pretty much the max height that should be from a healthy blade. I'm all over the place. To be as healthy as it possibly can, 3 inches for perennial ryegrass.
Today, Junior.
And that's it for this episode.
Thanks for tuning into Lawn Feed.
Bye. Good Lord. So Kentucky bluegrass, perennial ryegrass, a little bit shorter. What I was going to say was perennial ryegrass, 3-inch height of cut is kind of that sweet spot. And then if you've got like a tri-blend or you just don't know, 2.5, 3.5 inches, pretty good. Right. Like I said earlier, some of those newer cultivars can be, cut a little bit shorter. When in doubt, don't break the 1/3 rule and do everything that we, kind of talked about earlier. And keep your blade sharp, mow at the right time. Mid-morning is best. Evening is second best. Don't mow in the middle of the day when it's super hot and when it's super stressed and when your lawn goes dormant. Don't do it. And this comes without saying, but the lower that you cut your lawn, the more frequently you're going to need to mow to keep it at that height. So it's kind of a summation of height of cut and a lot of frequently asked questions that we get there.
That's right. And just remember, the lower that you cut, probably more often that you'll have to be cutting as well, right? So
echo in here.
Is it?
Yeah, there is.
Wow. Huh. How
So
about that?
just one more thing before we wrap it up. Just remember, if you're mowing low, you're probably gonna have to mow more frequently.
Chris, anything
Did
else?
you know that if you mow your lawn lower, you're gonna have to cut it more?
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Anyways,
Science, man. Let's
Let's wrap this
guys,
up.
before we go, just one more thing. If you mow low, I'm just kidding. Hope this episode was helpful for you guys. Just to kind
It
of
was not.
just a little helpful reminder of good mowing practices is kind of check yourself, make sure you're doing things right. Make sure you go check out thelawnfeed.com, check out our amazing lawn gear that will elevate your lawn apparel, sweatshirts, and more. Use promo code BRAD15 at checkout for 15% off your order. In behalf of the entire Lawn Feed, Andrew, Chris, and Vince, thank you for joining us on another episode. Stay safe out there. Good luck with this week's adventure of parenthood, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.
Bye-bye.